Hair's a bit squint. We're gonna just deal with it. We're gonna just leave it. Hair's fine, not even caring. So today I'm gonna do a little Q&A. Let's put that back there. So today's video is going to be a little Q&A. I popped it on my Instagram and I thought I'll just see what questions you ask and we can get to know each other a little bit better, or at least you can get to know me. So the first question is a nice simple one. It's how old are you? So I turned 25 last month. Yeah, that's it. I feel really weird saying that because I don't feel like I'm 25. I think I look about 18 and someone says, "You look super young." Face of a child. I still get ID'd even with this, and yeah, my ID is really bad as well. So yeah, so I got a lot of questions about my tattoos. I had like a few being like, tell us about your tattoos, or what do your tattoos mean? I've got a lot, so I feel like that will take up a massive Q&A. So I'm gonna do a whole video on my tattoos, what they mean, when I got them, all of that, because honestly if I did it now I'd be sitting here talking for about half an hour. Next question. How did you and your boyfriend meet? Oh. Okay, so James and I actually met on Hinge, which is, I guess, the same premise as Tinder but a whole lot nicer. Yeah, so we met on Hinge. I buyed him off. Oh god, he's gonna tell me off. He's gonna tell me off for saying this. So we started talking and it was going really well, and then I was going on holiday the following week on the Monday. So he asked me like, "Oh, do you want to do something this weekend?" And I was adamant that I didn't want to go on any dates before my holiday. I wanted to just go on holiday like completely unattached, carefree with my mom, just have a girl's time, enjoy it, not be messaging anyone. So I said no. And then on the Saturday night he was coming home from a gig, and he sent me a text like 11:30 at night and was like, "Look, are you still up? Like, I'm just driving home, can I call you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And I heard his voice and I was like, oh damn, oh damn. And yeah, we stayed on the phone for 3.5 hours until 3 in the morning, and then obviously Sunday I was like, okay, I need to see this boy before I go on holiday. So we went out Sunday night. Everywhere was shut. We went into town for a drink. Everywhere was shut apart from this one place that we literally walked into, and it was just us. Like, there wasn't even anyone behind the bar when we walked in. It was so funny. But yeah, so we spent the evening in this bar and then basically became inseparable. I went on holiday on the Monday and we were on the phone on FaceTime for like 4 hours a day. We booked Barcelona for our third date whilst I was on holiday, and then came home, had one more date, and then went to Barca the next weekend. So yeah, crazy, but hopefully quite a nice story. I hope you enjoyed hearing it. I really went into that, didn't I? I should have just said we met on Hinge. We met on Hinge. What is your main motivator for getting back into fitness after a tough time? Oh, this is good. So for me, my fitness journey started about 2.5 years ago, and that was at a point where I'd started building my health back up. I was at a point when then I was working in a bar, so I was quite active in terms of my job, and I thought, okay, if my health can cope with this, let's see how it will do in the gym. And I started going and just doing little bits, and I loved it so much. I was always quite like a sporty kid. I was definitely a tomboy as a child. I played football every single day after school. So for me, having that time away from sport or exercise was really hard. So yeah, getting back into that, I just loved it. Something I've always been passionate about, so it wasn't really a motivator in terms of like aesthetics or anything like that. It was just, I missed it, I loved it, and I finally had that ability to be able to do it again. And it's been so slow, like it has been such a slow process getting back into it, but it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. So yeah, really pleased that I'm back there now. So I had quite a few questions about the gym actually, so I'll do them all now so that it gets it done. What gym options don't aggravate your pain? So for me, I find low impact is best. If I'm doing cardio, I find running really hard, so instead of running I'll use like the cross trainer, or I'll go swimming, and then I usually do weights. Most of what I do is weights, to be honest, and I'll use the cable machines because it just feels a little bit more secure. And also, did you work with a PT to build an exercise program, or did you do it for yourself? So it's quite interesting actually. I was training to be a PT about 2.5 years ago. When I first got back into fitness, I thought, this is great, I want to learn how to do this, and I want to be able to coach people with chronic illness to get back into fitness. I messed up my ankle hugely and couldn't do my practical exams, but it does mean that I've got the knowledge, so I kind of know how to build an exercise program. So I've built it for myself. Also, I think if you're working with a PT, they need to have a really strong understanding of chronic illness, of what you can and can't do. And I think also you need to be very firm with them on like your limits. Like, I know there's some days I can go in, I can start doing something and I can do it. It can be something that I do every single day and I just go, no, I can't do that today. And I think you have to have a really good relationship with your PT and a lot of trust with them. So recently I've been doing some boxing and I've got a really good relationship with the guy that I do it with. He knows how far he can push me. He can kind of tell when I'm in pain. I'm very open about when I am in pain, what I'm struggling with. So you need to have that trust and that connection if you are going to work with a PT. How do you deal with staying positive and seeing a future when constantly in chronic pain? This is hard. This one's really hard. It's taken a long time. When I was diagnosed with ME and I looked at it and I looked online, and a lot of people sort of had it for, there was like this 2-year thing, and a lot of people had it for 2 years and then got better or didn't. So I kind of had that little bit of hope, and once I got to the 2-year point and I didn't get better, I massively lost it. I thought, this is it, this is just not gonna happen for me, I'm not gonna get better, I'm gonna be stuck with this. And in some aspects I guess that's true, but I think I'm always learning. Like, I'm always learning about my body and what works for it and what doesn't work for it. And I think to stay positive you have to be in that mindset. I look at a lot of motivational quotes, like lots. So many motivational quotes, oh my gosh, like my Pinterest quotes, but they're really helpful. And I look at a lot of people who have inspired me. Frida Kahlo, for example, she was incredible woman, and I just think, how can you not feel positive if you're able to look at role models who have achieved so much, even with what they've gone through? Set yourself little goals, praise yourself so much. Like, you got out of bed today, well done. You had a shower, oh my god, amazing. You brushed your hair, like, let's throw a party. Celebrate all the little things, remind yourself that you're doing a great job, and yeah, try and find some inspiration and positivity from external things. And yeah, I think that's how I hope stayed positive. If you could have dinner with anyone famous, who would you choose? Oh, this is really good. This is hard. Give me a minute. See, right, maybe, depends what I'm looking for in a dinner and where I'm going for dinner. To be honest, I think Holly Willoughby. I think Holly Willoughby and I would be the best of friends, and I feel like we would get drunk and we would be in like hysteric fits of giggles the entire night, and I feel like we'd take some great selfies. So yeah, probably Holly Willoughby. What is your proudest achievement to date? Hopefully there are lots of them. There are lots of them. I would say my proudest achievement. Ooh. So last year I spoke at a conference called My Life, My Say, and I spoke on a panel with Alistair Campbell talking about mental health in young people. Meeting him and being able to discuss his depression and sort of my mental health as well, and get the views from the audience was just incredible experience. Obviously there are loads of brands that I've worked with that I've been so proud to work with, but I think there's something about just standing, well, I was technically sitting, but sitting on a stage in front of people talking about something that's such a big, scary, vulnerable thing and making it not feel big and scary and vulnerable. I think that was just a real highlight for me. Like, that's what I want to do every day. So, well, not every day, I'd be really tired. But how do you handle the social media attention? Does it ever affect you negatively? Oh, this is good. This is a good question. So I don't feel like I'm at a level where I get much social media attention. Obviously I have a following and I get some attention, but I think because of the nature of what I talk about, most of the comments are pretty nice. But there's sometimes a pressure with it. There's definitely a pressure to create content and to show a balance. And I think that's what I struggle with the most, is if I'm feeling really low, it's hard for me to share that. But I feel responsible, like I feel like there's a responsibility for me to share that, because I want to show a balance and I want to show what life's really like. I don't want it to be all pretty pictures and stuff like that. And then at the same time, when I'm doing really well, it's hard because I don't want to rub it in people's faces. So I think I spend a lot of time reflecting on sort of how I'm coming across. I don't think that's necessarily a negative thing, but I do spend a lot of time doing that. I went through a time where social media was really affecting me. I had built up this friendship with another blogger and it kind of not fell apart, but it just drifted apart because of my health and because I couldn't be physically present as much as she would have liked me to be, and I got replaced very quickly. And I think when you've got chronic illness or a disability, or even if you've got, say, financial struggles or commitments in terms of your family, that whatever reason you have that means you can't go to everything, I think you can have a lot of comparison and that can really affect you negatively. I think you can often look at all the stuff other people are doing and think, okay, if I was able to do all that, I'd be so much more successful, I'd have this, I'd have that, I'd be friends with these people, I'd get these jobs. But you can't live like that, really. So I try not to let it affect me negatively. Definitely I don't get, like, I get the odd comment that's a little bit, but I try to just use it as a chance to educate people. You know, I get the whole you don't look ill thing a lot, so I'm kind of used to it. So when people ask me questions about my stick and stuff like that, even if they say it very bluntly, like, I'm used to that now. So yeah, so I don't think anything affects me too negatively now that I've kind of got over the whole comparison thing. So yeah, that was my little Q&A. I'm going to stop that there because I feel like I am rambling. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more. If you do have any more questions, just hop onto my Instagram. It's Ali Hemsley, and send me a little DM and I'll be sure to answer you, or leave your questions below in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all the things, and I shall see you very soon for my tattoo video, mainly because I got a new one last week and I want to tell you all about it. Speak to you soon.